Hello, I'm Nathan Leahy and welcome to Next Week in Gaming. So first up, we got something a little bit different from Humble Bundle, and this is the Yogcast Jingle Jam. This is going on for a whole month, for a 30-day period. It started a couple of days ago, and it finishes on Friday the 1st of January. Now, what this is it's a little bit different, not least because you get an absolute ton of games, but there's two tiers, and they're quite wide apart. So the first one is $5, and you get a couple of TF2 badges and a shout-out on the live stream if you're so inclined that way. But the main tier is the second tier, which has got all these games. And what's interesting is there's tons of games with quite a lot of money. All of it's going to charity, so it's not split as usual. And there are more games to come. So let's take a look at that list. So first up, you have Guns of Icarus Collector's Edition, Chivalry Medieval Warfare, Defcon, Medieval 2 Total War, Block and Load Platinum Pack, Ace of Spades Battle Builder, Chronicle RuneScape Legends Beta Key, Gunpoint, Torchlight 2, Tango Fiesta, Disc Storm, The Weaponographist, Armored Warfare T62 Main Battle Tank, and Elite Dangerous Cobra Skin that's Yogcast related, and of course the other games that you have coming. So it's actually pretty good value for money. If you can see yourself thinking a lot of that stuff is for you, then the $25 is most certainly worth it. But if there's only one or two games on there, then this probably isn't for you. But you know, it's all going to charity, so it's pretty good, even if you don't like Yogscast. So first up on our release schedule for next week is a game called Helldivers. This is by Arrowhead, the same people who redid the Gauntlet game, and this one's coming out on Monday the 7th of December. Now this is originally a PlayStation mobile title, and it's actually a pretty good one. It looks very shiny, and it sort of heralds back to the original days of the twin-stick shooter. Not quite as basic as games like Smash TV, old games, but this one's actually quite in-depth, and I'm very impressed with how much depth there is in this game. So I loaded up the press pack that I received and had a look, and the game is split into these various different sectors, which then have various different planets, and then you can choose what enemy you go against, then you can choose the terrain that you go against, and then there's tons of unlocks, tons of weapons. It's a 1 to 4 player co-op game where you can play single player, offline multiplayer, online multiplayer, or just any mishmash of anything. You can play this with whoever you like, however you like, pretty much. And you know, it just looks like a very well developed, pretty clean and concise game. Now I have been lucky enough to get myself a key, but of course we'll be doing another review beforehand, so look out for the start of that review next week, after our next review gets published on Thursday. Releasing on Wednesday the 9th of December is a game from the Games Workshop IP, just let's throw it everywhere. And this is Warhammer Dark Nexus Arena. This is, of course, another MOBA in a world that is now governed by MOBAs and free-to-play models, and now we're moving on to the MMO FPS MOBA, or whatever the hell you want to call them now. And this one is obviously going to take part in the Warhammer universe. It looks relatively similar to a lot of the other MOBAs, and to be honest, I don't think it's going to do that well. The only thing is, however, the one thing that just pains me is that I love the Tau. The Tau are my favourite race, and aside from Dark Crusade and Soulstorm and the single character in the Last Stand game mode in the new Dawn of War 2 Retribution, the Tau aren't anywhere. So they had the Fire Warrior FPS game, but that was crap, to be honest. But this actually has Tau heroes, and it's not just the elite cardboard box robot Tau, it's also got the ethereals. So I'm a little bit bummed out that at long last a Warhammer game has finally got Tau in it, but it's a MOBA. For all we know, it could be wonderful, amazing. So it comes out in early access to begin with, so it won't be a full release, but I can't imagine it's going to do particularly well against what we already have. Another mobile game being ported to PC on Thursday the 10th of December is a game called Crossbow Warrior. This is by Moby Dick Games, and it's a little bit similar to the game we reviewed not so long ago, Cross of the Dutchman, except instead of playing Pierre of Donia, you'll be playing William Tell, the guy who shoots apples off of people's heads. And in this game, this is sort of like a nice mixture between, if you remember Crash Bandicoot, like the originals where you're running forward, and also Trine with a side-scroller, but with a little bit of 3D, so it's quite like Trine 3. And it's not 100% side-scroller, there's quite a few different game types, and it's sort of stretched across 29 different levels, and it looks pretty good. It looks like a reminisce of those side-scroller puzzle games, except instead of with all the different characters, you just got one guy with a crossbow. And it looks quite pretty, I have to say, and it looks very interesting, so I will certainly be keeping my eye on that one. Another game coming to Steam's early access soon is a game called No Turning Back. This is by a solo developer called Colosseus X. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is a little bit of an 8-bit randomized dungeon roguelike game, except this is going to have quite a substantial amount of content, and it borrows quite a few little aspects from different games. So you've got like skill vendors, you've got blacksmiths and other NPCs like that, except they also have a level up system similar to games like Diablo 3 where you can level them up, and they have talent trees. So not only can you do these randomized dungeons, but you can also craft and level and build and play however the hell you like. Now it's quite confined, but it's a very, very fast-paced looking game. I definitely urge you to take a look at the video if this 8-bit roguelike is your style of game. I think there's a reasonably large market for this kind of game, and it could be relatively interesting. The developer reckons it's going to be in early access for about 6 months, I think. But it looks like it could definitely tick the box for quite a few people. And finally, onto our review title, which will be published on Thursday, the 10th of December. This is Just Cause 3. Now, this is going to be the last of 2 games when we finally get on to reviewing games when they actually release instead of afterwards. And I've already been picking up the game, and I'll probably upload an impressions video either today or possibly tomorrow, depending on how busy we get. Now, this game features much of the same stuff as Just Cause 2, but it has a ton of explosions, lots and lots of explosions. After playing it for a couple of days, there's lots of bigger explosions, and it feels like a lot of development time has been spent on making those explosions extra explosiony. Now, I've noticed a lot of people have been saying stuff about AMD's performance being dire, and on 4K I've not been getting on so well because it doesn't seem to have a crossfire profile, which is a bit annoying. But I haven't come up with these mountains of triangles quite yet, so I don't know whether it's down to having downloaded this later AMD driver. Anyway, it seems to be a pretty cool game. I'm enjoying the wingsuit, it looks pretty, and the humor's pretty good. I know people sometimes bashed the dialogue in Just Cause 2, but this one is a lot better, I have to say. I'm enjoying the conversations a bit more. So check us out next week on Thursday for our full review and performance analysis of Just Cause 3. So that's it from us at NextPowerUp. Join us next week on Thursday for our weekly review, and of course next week on Saturday for our next Week in Gaming episode. I am aware that PewDiePie's random-ass side-scroller game released this week, but to be perfectly honest, I don't care. I doubt it's going to be that great. It will probably be immensely popular because it has his name in it, but whatever. Someone else can cover that. Of course, leave your comments in the section below as usual, and of course you can check out the full written review in the little section below. So that's it. If you're looking for some tech news, go ahead and visit our sister channel and sister site NextPowerUp, and that's it from us, so we'll see you guys next week.